Back in my day, the army used to be tougher. Now it's really soft. That's all we hear. And I've most probably said it myself. But today, we're just going to spin some absolute dits about what used to happen in the army that you most probably couldn't get away with, like taking a few digs here and there. And I've even seen blokes lifted up by their sideburns. But we get into that today. So, I'm Craig, former British soldier, and I joined the army back in September of 2006. And yes, the army may have got a little bit softer. We are still quite a fighting force, okay, with some absolute brilliant soldiers. But just having a bit of a chat today about my career and some of the things that I now look back at and laugh. One of them being is just a general room inspection. Nothing different today. It was back in training. Platoon sergeant, section commander come round, and it was time to do the room inspection. And as the platoon sergeant walked by, he went, "What's up, Holman?" Back then I was only a recruit, and as he did that with his pay stick, just whacked me in the nuts, sent me flying to the floor. Today, you definitely couldn't get away with that. Some other times then, what else did I see? My mate fucked up. Nothing too serious. Basically, had too long hair in training, didn't get his hair cut. So the section commander, one of the section commanders, no names are going to be mentioned in this, come walking out of the office, was like, "Oi," once again not naming names, "Why haven't you got a haircut? Those sideburns were too long." Picked this guy up, because my mate was quite short, picked him up literally by the sideburns, lifted him up off the floor, little legs were just dangling. And he's like, "You're going to get a haircut, aren't you?" And he's like, "Yes, Bombardier, yes, Bombardier." And his little legs were just literally dangling. Absolute brilliant scenes. But before we carry on, if you want to stay focused, alert, and you need that caffeine kick in the morning or while on exercise or ops, make sure you head over to our website, combatreadyhq.co.uk, support the channel, purchase yourself some coffee, awesome t-shirts, our merchandise. I appreciate all the support, link is in the description. Couple other times then, what else happened? I remember I had shin splints, okay, I was training for P Company, I was in 7 at this time, so I was in 7 Parachute Regiment Royal Artillery, 7 Parachute, 7 RHA, for those of you out there, whatever you want to call it. So, we're doing basically laps of the running track, and I was trying to get over a shin splint injury. Really severely bad shin splints. You know, they were keeping me up in the night, couldn't put my socks on without being in pain. I could barely walk around cramp. I looked like a right idiot, basically, proper biff. Just slowly recovering, but I really wanted to go on P Company on this date. So I was like, right, come down the track, obviously get yourself fit again, and if you can maintain fitness, maintain being PT, we can get you on P Company. I remember running around the track, just trying to do sprints, you know, breaks in between, and then my legs were getting really bad. And I remember just running past the PTI, the Bombardier, and he was like, "Holman, you need to go faster." And because my legs were in so much pain, I actually said, "I can't." He went, "You what?" And as I turned round and I was like jogging away, I just remember seeing this Bombardier literally chasing me down the track and just drop kicked me in the back. Something you definitely couldn't get away with today, but yeah, I just got drop kicked in the back for basically being in pain and having shin splints. Yeah, so that's what it sort of used to be like. Doesn't happen now. It was, I remember in training as well, it was, you know, you take an ag-eye or an itchy head, you were always going to pick the itchy head. Whatever they had in their hand, whether it was a fist, thermal flask or whatever, whack to the top of the head, punishment was over. You didn't have to go and do a show parade that night. No one wanted to do a show parade at night. So you just took the little itchy head. Did it make you hate the section commanders? No. Did it turn me into the person I am today? Did it mould me? Did it make me a better person? Yes. Do I think people should be hit? No. Do I think people should be bullied? No. But I think sometimes you just got to be a little bit tougher. It changes you as a person. It makes you a better person. A little dig here and there in the army, when you messed up, didn't do anyone any harm, okay? If anything, it made you a little bit of a better soldier and you wouldn't make that mistake again. Yeah, but back then, not like being completely filled in, but taking a punch, taking a little dig was just the norm. It was normal. And the majority of the time, you didn't want to get ag-eyed. No one wanted to get ag-eyed, so taking that form of punishment was better than getting ag-eyed. but I can just imagine. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this as well, by the way, so please do comment below. What do you think of the new setup as well? I don't really do many videos from here. I'm normally at the desk, but this is obviously the background. We've got the old Chesterfield chair. But can you imagine doing that today to recruits? You know, I've just done a video release recently where register managers are like, we don't want to shout at sensitive recruits. Our recruits, we don't want to shout at them. You know, they don't respond well. They get upset. We don't overwhelm them. Can you imagine just like giving them a little kidney digger or an itchy head or a little pole round the back of the hands, or just walking around on room inspection going, "You're right," boom, Davis, and then whoever it is, Smith, whack straight in the nuts. Back then you just laughed about it. A bit of character building. Nowadays people would cry and you get a massive complaint and you'd get, you know, RTU, returned from unit, and sacked off your posting most probably for doing something like that. Yeah, I just think those were like absolute brilliant days in the army, and I remember seeing the army changing before I left. And don't get me wrong, the army is still an absolute brilliant career. It really, really is. But it just changed to a point where I wasn't really enjoying it. But I think if you're joining now, you don't know any difference. I think the guys that joined when I joined, a little bit after, a little bit before, have seen the massive change in the military. We've still got great soldiers, but you see the change, and because of what it was to what it is now, I think that's the sorts of guys that struggles. But if you're joining now, you don't know any difference. You're going into the military as it is. I just think we need to find an in-between. You don't need to scream and shout at somebody all the time. There shouldn't be bullying. No one should be getting filled in. But I think sometimes if you just, you know, something quite serious as well, negligent discharge, or, you know, you're messing up your contact drills on exercise, and you keep messing it up, and you're possibly using live rounds, a little kick, little tap there isn't going to hurt anyone. Oi, screwed a nut, what are you doing? Get your weapon pointed in a safe direction. All right, but nowadays, if you do that little tap on someone, someone's going to put a complaint in. That brings me back to another time when I was on Barry Budden. It was our battlefield week, well, I can't remember, it was battle camp week in AFC Harrogate in training. Leopard crawling across the ground, and they obviously want to get you wound up, get your aggression turned on. And I remember just the bombardier just saying something behind me and just stamping on my back, telling me to move faster to get up. I was too far behind apparently. I didn't think I was that far behind, but to get me going and get me riled up, he was just stamping on my back. Once again, you couldn't get that. It didn't hurt. He wasn't doing it to the point where he was hurting me, but it's just to get that aggression switched on, just to get you riled up. But you could nowhere near do that now. It would be uproar. Once again, what I said earlier, character building. I think it is character building. Just, you know, it's the military at the end of the day. You want hard and tough men and women. You don't want softies going to war or going on operations, even if it's peacekeeping. You know, you want someone who's going to be able to hold that line, you know, switch your aggression on and off when you need to. But they're just, you know, I thought we'd spin some bits. Maybe we could do this weekly, every couple of weeks, sit here, chat. But please do comment below. I'd love to know if you've got any absolute brilliant stories like this. So please do comment below if you do have any stories. I'd be very interested to know. And if you do want to continue to support the channel, then you can become a channel member. A massive shout out to all our channel members. If you could share, like, comment on this video, I would hugely appreciate it. And like I said, head over to combatreadyhq.co.uk to check out our merch and our coffee. All goes to supporting the channel so I can put out much better content for all of you. We've got some absolute brilliant plans lined up for some great content. We've obviously done a massive collab with Magnus and Eddie as well, which was an absolute unreal experience. So thank you for all of your support who have enabled me to be able to do things like that. So thank you very much. Remember, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon.